Hi, my loves. Welcome back to another episode of the bisfor podcast. I'm your host, Bravia, and today the B is for brave because this conversation, this mindset, this approach requires bravery. Vulnerability requires bravery. There's a book called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown that I read a few years ago that's always resonated with me. And she essentially did a bunch of research on vulnerability and talked to various different types of people, groups, like from SEAL Team 6 teams that have been together for years and had multiple deployments, down to church groups, down to like elementary school teachers, and did a ton of research on what the most difficult thing is for humans to do, but is also the most valuable thing for humans to do, which is be vulnerable. And vulnerability is really on the other side of fear. It is one of the most scary things that you can do because you are putting yourself out there and being okay with like the way that you're viewed. And I think that's a lifelong journey for all of us, myself included. When I put myself out there, when I take that risk, or when I go a little step further, how is that going to be perceived? And vulnerability puts you in a position to be rejected. And rejection is something that we so viscerally fight. And I feel like I've talked about this on recent episodes, but no one likes the feeling of being rejected. And so as we get older and as we start to evolve our worldview because of our experiences and the things that we've been through, we naturally become less and less willing to be vulnerable. You think of us as kids in a childlike state, you're not worried about what people think of you. You just do the things that you want to do. You put yourself out there, you throw yourself out there because rejection isn't something that you've like conceptualized yet or something that you feared yet. We avoid rejection so much now because once you experience it and experience it enough and you hate how uneasy or how uncomfortable it makes you feel, you don't want to have that experience again. So you are more reluctant to share. You're more reluctant to dare greatly, which is the whole point of her book, is saying being vulnerable is to dare greatly. It's to be brave and put yourself out there knowing that you could be rejected, knowing that people may not receive it well, but doing it because it's in alignment with who you are, what you desire, and how you feel. See, like me, even thinking about being vulnerable right now and like sharing more with you all is so scary for me. Like, you see how I'm like naturally rubbing my chest, like I'm already doing self-soothing to like build the courage and the bravery to like talk about this. But yeah, I'm starting to come to a point in my life where I'm really trying to dare greatly. I'm trying to be vulnerable and allow myself to do things that feel in alignment with me, knowing that there will likely be opinions about it, or even if there aren't, exposing myself to opinions. But I think I've gotten to a point right now where I know me well enough and I know my heart posture well enough that regardless of how certain things are received or perceived, I'm okay with it because I have a knowing of alignment. But alignment is not always easy, and there are risks taken, there are fears that you have to overcome in order to get aligned. There's humility that you have to gain, there's accountability that you have to take. And I've found myself in this position a lot recently because I'm getting more in alignment with where I want to go, who I want to be, the things I want to experience, and what's true to me. And I haven't stepped perfectly through the process. But I saw a quote recently and it said, I finally found my rhythm when I realized that even the steps backward were a part of the dance. And I feel like right now I'm finding my rhythm, knowing where I've misstepped, knowing how to evolve from that, and also lean into the things that I'm experiencing right now. I just went to a coffee shop with my boyfriend. Ooh, that's tea, listeners. That's tea. Your girl's in a whole relationship now. What is happening? But I think it's so dope. Like, the universe will really align you to the right things in the right timing. And like, my God, did I swear this off? Like, I was so, it's so funny. I've talked to you all about detachment before and how I feel like as soon as you truly detach from an outcome, it comes to you. Like as soon as you kind of like release something from your mind or release like your like strong attachment to it, or like what it's supposed to be or how it's supposed to be or when it's supposed to be, and you just let it go and let it flow, it comes to you. And I feel like this year I really decentered like men from my life and a relationship, because there were so many things I was focused on that felt aligned to me and my evolution and the things that I've been trying to do. And when all of my focus just shifted towards that and trusted what's meant for me will come to me, this man comes into my life. And, you know, there's never like perfect timing or a perfect way that things could have happened. But when it's the right thing, it finds its way. And I just was at a coffee shop with him, and we were just having like a deep conversation about life, about how we view life, about the things that, like the way that we perceive certain things. And we were talking about journaling and like how much it means to me and how much it's helped me and shaped me and evolved me, and how he wants to get into it. He had to work today, so he kind of like left the coffee shop after we wrapped up. I stayed back and I journaled about like everything I was feeling and thinking. And it goes back to the point that I was just making. And trust me, I'm going to connect all these dots in a second. But I wrote down, I'm not going to read you the whole journal entry because there were some private things in here. But this is what I wrote. I said, moving in flow, choosing what feels genuinely aligned to me, trusting my timing, and moving in accordance with it. Everything stacks up. Things feel tricky, nothing is perfect, and it isn't what we expect it to be. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? To experience it all, to feel it all, to go through it all. Right now, I'm on a high, even when other areas feel like a low, shifting my focus to the positive, to the light, like a moth finding a flame in the darkness, gravitating toward my anchor, which is the glory of life, the ability to choose and to be, the opportunity to pursue despite the odds, the chance to create in a dull place, the gift of figuring it out. That's what makes it beautiful. The journey, the trial, the stickiness of it all. The risk is scary, but it's exciting. The friction means that it's worth doing, and the tension means that you're growing. I feel so lucky not only to experience it, but to see it this way. And then there's more things, like I said, that are private. But I feel so connected to my own journey right now in a way that is so exciting. And I intuitively knew that this was coming, but to be in it and to see the process of it, and to know how I feel now, and to know how different this is from anything that I've experienced prior. It's like everything that happened was meant to happen. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, when we dare greatly, when we're vulnerable, when we choose to be brave, when we lead with curiosity, and when we choose to love, good things come to us. We move and fall into alignment more with our purpose, who we are, our path, our journey. There's this creator on TikTok, and he wrote this poem, and I thought it was so beautiful. I came across it the other day, and I feel like I have to share it. His name is Clay, and I'll make sure that I like tag his link in the description so that you can go watch it yourself, and definitely go comment, give him his flowers, because I think that this was so beautifully written and I have to share it. It so deeply resonated with me, and it's aligned with a lot of the things that I've been thinking lately on my own. So I have to share it with you. He said, I've spent so much of my life hearing people tell me to detach. Don't text back too fast. Don't care more than they care. Keep one foot out the door. Never let someone become your whole world. Protect yourself. Guard your heart. We've turned love into this fucking strategy. Somewhere along the way, we decided that the healthiest person in the relationship is the one who needs it the least. We celebrate people who can walk away without flinching, who never double text, who never lose sleep, who never let the other person affect them too much. We call it emotional maturity, and maybe sometimes it is. But sometimes I think we're just fucking scared. Because I don't want to spend my life loving with an emergency exit already mapped out. I don't want every kiss to come with an evacuation plan. I don't want to hold someone's hand while secretly preparing myself for the moment that they let go. I don't want to love halfway just because heartbreak exists. I want to fall in love so fucking completely that it changes the way I look at Tuesdays. I want to laugh until my stomach hurts because of someone. I want songs to remind me of them. I want to miss them when they're gone for a day. I want to build routines around them. I want my heart to be fully involved. Does that make me vulnerable? Absolutely. But isn't that the whole point? People talk about anxious attachment and avoidant attachment as if it's a goal to become untouchable. As if healing means that no one can ever shake you again. But I don't think healing is becoming impossible to hurt. I think healing is knowing your heart could break and choosing to love anyway. Because what's the alternative? To live your entire life never letting anyone in all the way, to never experience the ache, because you also never experience the fullness. That doesn't sound like peace to me. It sounds like surviving. And I don't want to survive love. I want to live it. Maybe one day someone will leave. Maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe I'll end up crying on my bathroom floor, wondering how something so beautiful became a memory. But if I loved with everything I had, absolutely everything that I had, then those tears won't mean that I lost. They'll mean that I lived. I'd rather have a heart that's broken because it loved than one that's perfectly intact because it never dared to. Love isn't valuable because it lasts forever. It's valuable because, for however long it exists, it asks us to be completely awake. So no, I don't want to become someone who never falls too hard. I want to be someone who isn't afraid to. Because if this life ends with a scared heart that loved recklessly, honestly, and without apology, I think I'll leave this world richer than someone whose heart was never touched at all. Maybe that's naive to say, or maybe we've mistaken self-protection for wisdom for so long that we've forgotten what courage looks like. I think courage looks like loving anyway. Oh my God. Even just rereading that out loud gives me chills. Because that so beautifully encompasses the purpose of us being here. And I am actually the most guilty of this, is trying to intellectualize and apply logic to things that are so beyond the physical, to things that are so spiritually felt, which is the thing that all of us are most deeply connected to, which is love. I've tried to apply logic to how I give love, how I receive love, what it means to love, and I haven't in a long time just let myself love and do it fully, wholeheartedly, deeply, without pause, without question, without what ifs. And he framed it so perfectly. It's like, I would rather move out of love and take the risk than not love at all. And one of the most courageous things that you can do is be vulnerable. I'd argue the most courageous thing that you can do is be vulnerable. Go all in. Don't hold back. And this goes for everything in life. It's things that you love. It's yourself that you love. It's the person that you love. Like, don't just frame this in a romantic sense. Frame this in a sense of love for life, passion, purpose. Go all in. We're all so fucking scared, myself included. It was honestly my boyfriend who like challenged me even more to think this way. Like he had pushed me of like, there's certain things in life that don't need to be or can be explained with logic. They can only be explained and experienced with love. Lean into those things. And it's so true. And as someone who has been significantly hurt in the past, as someone who has experienced a lot of pain and heartbreak in multiple capacities, not just romantic, but in life, and has gone through a lot of things and has lost, literally. There's two paths that I could take from those experiences, and one of them I was taking for a long time, which is the path of fear. And there's another one, which is the path of courage, which requires vulnerability and love. So while I was at this coffee shop journaling, I was like, let me go back to some of my old journal entries and like see what they say. In the back of my journal, I found this folded up piece of paper. And I was like, what is this? Like, where did this come from? It says June 2025, Bali. Some of this I am going to censor because it's personal things, but you'll get the drift. I think I am settling in blank. And maybe even in my belief in myself. I've doubted myself at times, if I'm being radically honest. There's so much I can do. There's so much I can handle, and yet I fear it. Because fear, let's face it, is natural. We as humans fear everything. We fear failure and we fear success. We fear love and we fear loss. We fear reality and we fear fakeness. We fear death, but we also fear living. So I say this to say, I'm settling in which fear I'm choosing. I'm choosing the fear that feels safer. Choosing the fear that feels like the lesser of two evils. Because one, while it sounds prettier, is scarier, really. While I fear what success may bring, I also fear failure more. I need to stop leaning into my fear of failure. Because what if, just what if, I win? What if I fucking win? What if my shoulders can carry more than I've given them credit for? Maybe they're physically broad to remind me of all that I can carry. I can carry success, love, challenge, growth, opportunity, and more. More than I can even fathom. So where am I settling in my fear? And which fear do I need to choose? It's time to no longer let fear win. And then I wrote, revisit this later. And what are the odds that I find this journal entry today, after I was sitting here connecting all the dots between all these different things that I've experienced, written down, been thinking of? It's no coincidence at all. And I know for certain that the longer I choose fear is the longer I manifest its reality. And the more I choose to dare greatly, the more I choose to be brave, the more I choose to be vulnerable, so long as it's in alignment with who I am, I win. Because what's the alternative? Stay living in fear, stay not putting your heart out there, stay being scared, waking up 20 years from now and wishing that you did things differently, or take the risk while you have it. I think once you start prioritizing how your life feels instead of how it looks, you become unstoppable. And every day I feel like I am getting better at prioritizing that. And knowing that it's not always going to be liked, it's not always going to be well received, it's not always going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. But as long as I'm daring greatly, as long as my intentions are good, as long as I'm doing my best to move out of kindness, out of love, even if the outcome doesn't turn out the way I intended it to, if it's rooted in that, the lessons will also be rooted in that. The challenges will be rooted in that. There will be alignment to the intent. And nothing that I've ever done in my life that's granted me opportunity, perspective, joy has come from comfortable decisions. It's come from taking the risk. There are opportunities, there are experiences, there are people behind the door that you're scared to open because the door is risky to open. You don't even know what's behind the door waiting for you. There's more than you can even imagine that's waiting for you. We're fucking scared. Fuck the fear. Fuck it. It'll come up, it'll win sometimes, but don't let it win permanently. I was recently reminded that although I've been extremely resilient in my life, although I have come such a long way in my healing journey and the way I understand myself and my career and all the things, there is no final destination. Like, yes, would I classify myself as a resilient person? Sure. But does that mean that I can't be more resilient? No. Does that mean that I can't be more loving, more caring, more giving, more successful, more wise? Like, just because you've gained things and accomplished things up to a certain point doesn't mean that that's the end point. Keep pushing. And keep pushing with love. If you've found love, keep pushing to make it better. Keep pushing to deepen it. Keep pushing for that connection in a way that you can't even imagine that you can experience it. Be vulnerable. Lean into it. Lean into yourself and dare greatly. That is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I like this one. This one was like a flow state. I really like this one. I appreciate you for being here as always. Also, I am offering one-on-one personal strategy sessions. If you are looking for someone to help you kind of navigate who you're becoming and then also what you are building, work with me. I've had 7 years of consulting experience. I've trained over 1,000 leaders. I've helped develop really strategic programs for people and for businesses. And I have this really cool way of combining the two to be able to support you in not only who you are and establishing that, but where you want to go. It's one thing to get advice as a person. It's another thing to get advice and then take action. And that's what personal strategy is all about. So I am accepting new clients at this time. So if you would love to work with me, I would love to work with you. The link is in my description below. Fill out a form and I will get in contact with you. But thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you and I'm sending you all my love. I love you. I love you. And I hope that you give love back today and always. See you in 2 weeks.